Historic figures everyone should know. By history as biography. Voltaire was a French Enlightenment writer, historian and philosopher famous for his wit, his criticism of Christianity, especially the Catholic Church, and his advocacy of freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and separation of church and state. He was a versatile and prolific writer, producing works in almost every literary form, including plays, poems, novels, essays, and historical and scientific works. He wrote more than 20,000 letters and more than 2,000 books and pamphlets. He was an outspoken advocate of civil liberties, despite the risk this placed him in under the strict censorship laws of the time. As a satirical polemicist, he frequently made use of his works to criticize intolerance, religious dogma, and the French institutions of his day. Voltaire was born François-Marie Arouet in Paris in 1694. His father was a lawyer and his mother was a countrywoman of noble birth. He was educated by the Jesuits at the Collège Louis-le-Grand. After completing his studies, he became a secretary to the French ambassador in the Netherlands, where he began writing poetry and plays. In 1717, Voltaire returned to Paris and began writing for the theatre. His plays were very successful and he quickly became a celebrity in Parisian society. However, his outspoken views and criticism of the government often landed him in trouble with the authorities. He was imprisoned several times, and in 1726 he was forced to flee to England, where he spent 3 years studying and writing. Upon his return to France in 1729, Voltaire continued to write and publish works that were critical of the government and the Catholic Church. He was particularly critical of the Church's treatment of the Jansenists, a group of Catholics who believed in a strict interpretation of the Bible and were often at odds with the Church's teachings. Voltaire also wrote about the plight of the French peasants and the unfairness of the French legal system. In 1733, Voltaire published his most famous work, Candide, a satirical novella that mocked the optimism of the philosopher Leibniz. The book was a huge success and helped to establish Voltaire as a leading figure in the Enlightenment movement. Throughout his career, Voltaire was an advocate of freedom of expression and civil liberties. He believed that everyone had the right to their own beliefs and opinions, and that the government had no right to censor or suppress them. This belief often put him at odds with the authorities in France, and he was imprisoned several times for his views. Despite his many controversies, Voltaire was a highly respected figure in his lifetime and his works continue to be widely read and studied today. He is remembered as one of the great champions of liberty and a pioneer of the Enlightenment movement, which helped to pave the way for the modern democratic societies we enjoy today.